You think you know the Force. You see it as a battle between two sides of a coin. The Jedi in their serene temples, preaching peace and self-control, and the Sith, cloaked in shadow, driven by passion and a lust for power. For thousands of years, the galaxy has been their chessboard, and everyone else was just a pawn. But what if I told you that was a lie? A convenient story told by two arrogant orders who wanted you to believe they were the only ones who mattered. What if the Force isn't a coin with two sides, but a vast, deep ocean? And while the Jedi and Sith were splashing in the shallows, other groups were exploring its darkest, most terrifying depths. These are the secret sects the Jedi and Sith both feared. Not because they were evil, but because they proved the Jedi and Sith knew nothing at all. Our first journey takes us to a planet shrouded in blood-red mists, a world of twisted forests and unseen dangers. This is Dathomir, and it is home to the Nightsisters. To call them dark side users is to miss the point entirely. They don't use the Force in the way a Sith does. They are witches. They command a primal, terrifying power they call magic. Drawing on the raw, untamed life energy of their planet, the Nightsisters perform rituals that would make a Sith Lord's blood run cold. They brew potions from strange plants and the organs of slain beasts. They chant in guttural languages to summon a sickly green mist they call the spirit Ichor. And with this Ichor, they can do the impossible. They can enhance their warriors, turning them into hulking, mindless berserkers like savage Oprahs. They can become invisible, moving like ghosts through the battlefield. But their most horrifying power, the one that truly terrified the Jedi, was their mastery over death. A Nightsister doesn't see death as an end. They see it as an inconvenience. Using their magic, they can reach into the grave and pull the dead back out. They can reanimate their fallen sisters, creating an endless army of corpses that feel no pain and know no fear. Imagine facing that. You strike down an enemy, only for a witch to raise her hands and force that same dead body back to its feet, its eyes glowing with green fire, its only purpose to tear you apart. The Jedi relied on order and predictability. The Nightsisters were chaos incarnate. Their power wasn't learned from a holocron. It was dredged from the mud and blood of their world, and it was a power the Jedi had no answer for. From the primal chaos of Dathomir, we traveled to the other end of the spectrum, to a society of absolute terrifying order. They are the Knights of Zakuul. For millennia, the Jedi and Sith believed they were the only two options. You either served the light, or you were consumed by the dark. The Knights of Zakuul proved them both wrong. These warriors, clad in gleaming bronze armor and wielding unique yellow lightsaber pikes, saw the Force in a completely different way. To them, it wasn't about light or dark. It wasn't about good or evil. The Force was simply a tool, a weapon to be used for conquest and to enforce the will of their immortal leader, the eternal Emperor Valkorion. They felt no conflict. They were not tempted by the dark side, nor were they bound by the restrictions of the light. They were a unified, fanatical army, all moving with a single mind, a single purpose. A Jedi fights to protect. A Sith fights for personal power. A Knight of Zakuul fights for the glory of their emperor. And this unity made them unstoppable. When they emerged from the unknown regions, they did what no one thought possible. They crushed both the Galactic Republic and the Sith Empire. Jedi Masters and Sith Lords, who had spent their lives mastering their opposing philosophies, were cut down by legions of warriors who simply didn't care about their ancient war. The Knights of Zakuul were a walking, talking refutation of everything the Jedi and Sith believed. They were proof that a third path existed, a path of cold, focused, and utterly devoted power. And that possibility was more frightening to the established orders than any single enemy. But even the Knights of Zakuul, for all their power, operated within the known rules of reality. Our next group, they threw the rulebook out the window. Deep within the screaming chaos of the Kathol rift, a treacherous region of space where the laws of physics come to die, live the Aing-Tii monks. These bizarre, long-snouted aliens are so reclusive, so alien, that most of the galaxy thinks they're just a myth. But the few who have encountered them and survived speak of powers that defy all logic. The Aing-Tii don't see the Force as a light side or a dark side. They see it as a rainbow of colors, each with a different property. And by mastering these colors, they've learned to do things that should be impossible. They can fold space, teleporting their massive starships from one point to another in an instant, without ever entering hyperspace. It's a strategic advantage so profound, it's practically cheating. But that's not their most terrifying secret. The Aing-Tii have mastered an ability called flow walking. A Jedi might meditate to see a vision of the past. An Aing-Tii monk can literally step into that past. They can walk through a memory as if it were a physical place. They can observe events from any angle, seeing the truth of what really happened. Now they claim they can only observe, but the very existence of this power is a threat to the entire timeline. What if a rogue monk decided to do more than just watch? What if they could change the past? The Jedi and Sith fought for control of the future. The Aing-Tii possessed the power to rewrite the past. It was a power so advanced, so fundamentally reality-breaking, that the Jedi couldn't even comprehend it, let alone fight it. The galaxy is littered with groups like these. There were the Jensaarai, who blended Sith teachings with Jedi philosophy and wore armor that was nearly immune to the Force. There were the Fallanassi, masters of the white current, who could create illusions so real and so powerful they could hide entire planets from view. Each of these sects, in their own way, held a mirror up to the Jedi and the Sith. They showed them that their cosmic war was nothing but a squabble between two dogmatic cults. The Force is wild, strange, and infinitely more complex than either side was willing to admit. These secret groups, hidden in the dark corners of the galaxy, were the living proof. And the most terrifying thought of all is this: they are still out there. The knowledge is not lost. And in a galaxy so vast, you have to wonder, what other horrors, what other powers are still waiting to be discovered?